Philippine heroes who are not Filipinos. Dr. Jose Rizal said, "Genius knows no country. Genius sprouts anywhere. Genius is like light, air, the patrimony of everybody. Cosmopolitan like space, like life, like God." In much the same way, heroism is not limited to one particular country, or to the national boundaries one is born into. For true heroism transcends boundaries and territories. It transcends oneself, nay rather, sacrifices oneself so that other people may find justice, peace, and liberate themselves from the clutches of oppression. This presentation focuses on the lives of 4 persons, all non-Filipinos, but whose destiny became intertwined with the Philippine and its tumultuous history. Through their life's passion and work, they bequeathed lasting betterment for the country, now called the Philippines, and the Filipino people. One of them has not even set foot in the Philippines, which proves you do not have to be in the Philippines to love and serve the country. The 4 Philippine heroes who are non-Filipinos are Narciso Claveria, a statesman; Ferdinand Blumentritt, a scholar; Claire Phillips, a spy; and David Fagan, a soldier. Narciso Claveria. Narciso Claveria y Zaldúa, born on May 2, 1795, was Governor-General of the Philippines from July 1844 to December 1849. During his tenure, he tried to give the islands a government as good as that of Spain. He prohibited provincial governors from engaging in business due to conflict of interest, a principle which remains valid today. He traveled through the provinces to learn the needs of Filipinos, encourage agriculture, and improve the streets and suburbs of Manila. He is also remembered for the reformation of the Philippine calendar and the giving of surnames to Filipinos. The Philippines until 1845 was one day behind the calendars of Europe and America. When Spanish explorers sailed to the Philippine Islands, they lost minutes every day since they were going the same way the sun was going. To correct this error, Claveria agreed to drop December 31, 1844 from the Philippine calendar, so the day after December 30, 1844 was henceforth January 1, 1845. From the days of the Spanish conquest, Most Filipinos had no surnames, which caused confusion. On November 21, 1849, Claveria issued a decree sending long lists of Spanish and local surnames to the chiefs of the provinces. These were sent out to the different towns and given to the locals who had no surnames, thereby giving Filipinos Hispanized surnames, like Reyes and Rodriguez. For his vision and good administration towards the Filipinos, 3 towns in the Philippines were named in his honor, namely the towns of Claveria in Cagayan province in Luzon, Claveria in Masbate in the Visayas, and Claveria in Misamis Oriental province in Mindanao. Ferdinand Blumentritt. Ferdinand Blumentritt was born in Prague, now the Czech Republic, on September 10, 1853. Blumentritt was a scholar who wrote books on the Philippines. He was one of Dr. Jose Rizal's closest friends, and the support and inspiration he gave to Rizal have a lasting effect on the Philippines. Blumentritt translated Rizal's first book, Noli Me Tangere, into German and wrote the preface to Rizal's second book, El Filibusterismo. Blumentritt and Rizal's voluminous correspondence provide a rich source of materials on the life and thoughts of Rizal. It was to Blumentritt that Rizal wrote his last letter from prison before his execution in Bagumbayan. When Blumentritt died in 1913, President Sergio Osmeña, who was then the Speaker of the Philippine Assembly, said to Blumentritt, "His ideas of justice were those of ours. His aspiration for freedom was dedicated to us. He was an honorable friend and brother of the Philippines." Thus, it was of no consequence that Blumentritt was a foreigner and did not live in the Philippines. His love for the Filipinos and Philippine freedom was the essence of what Philippine heroism is about. Blumentritt is memorialized in the Philippines through numerous public parks and streets named in his honor. Among them are Blumentritt Road, Blumentritt LRT Station, Blumentritt Railway Station, the Blumentritt Market in Metro Manila, and the Blumentritt Street in Naga City and Taguig. Claire Phillips. Claire Phillips was a talented dancer and singer who opened an upscale nightclub in Manila for the purpose of spying on the Japanese, hence her nickname, Manila Matahari. She arrived in Manila in 1941 to join a song and dance revue, but later met a young American soldier whom she fell in love with. Her husband was eventually captured and killed in the Japanese prison camp. To evade capture, Phillips changed her identity into that of a Filipina with an Italian descent. She would later open Club Tsubaki, which catered to powerful Japanese officials. With the help of her Filipino staff, Phillips was able to gather information from their customers, which proved to be valuable to the Allied intelligence. As a spy, Phillips regularly supplied local guerrillas with valuable intelligence, and her efforts soon paid off. A tip to the American soldiers once launched a successful attack against a Japanese submarine squadron in the Pacific. She also used the profits of Club Tsubaki to buy medicines and food intended for the prisoners of war, at Kabatatuan, as well as fund an underground tabloid which reported current war developments. Phillips was known then as High Pockets for her habit of hiding secret valuables in her bra. Unfortunately, Claire Phillips was eventually captured by the Kempeitai, military police arm of the Imperial Japanese Army. Her skin was burned with cigars, and she was also punished using a method called water cure. By the time she was released in the prison in 1945, Phillips had already lost 55 pounds. After returning to Oregon, she wrote a memoir entitled Manila Espionage and became the only woman in the state to receive the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 1951. 9 years later, she died due to alcoholism-related meningitis. David Fagan. David Fagan, an African-American soldier, was part of the American forces before he defected to Emilio Aguinaldo's army during the Philippine-American War, 1899 to 1902. Born in Tampa, Florida, around 1875, Fagan enlisted in the 24th Infantry, one of the 4 black regiments who arrived in the Philippines to fight with white American troops. As part of the 24th Regiment, Fagan was involved in several major battles against insurrectos in central Luzon. However, the overwhelming racism perpetrated by their white comrades threw Fagan into a dilemma. A black private once wrote that the white man's prejudice followed the Negro to the Philippines, then 1,000 miles from where it originated. He also had constant arguments with his superiors, who frequently ridiculed him and forced him to do all sorts of dirty jobs. Soon, Fagan grew sympathetic towards Filipinos who were also a colored race, fighting for their own freedom. On November 17, 1899, Fagan defected to the Filipino army and made his way to the rebels' sanctuary at Mount Arayat, Pampanga. Known by his men as General Fagan, he clashed with his former allies at least 8 times between 1900 and early 1901. He is best remembered for leading his men in capturing an American steam launch in Pampanga and later seizing its cargo of guns. Due to his exemplary skills, Fagan was promoted by General Jose Alejandrino from first lieutenant to captain on September 6, 1900. The New York Times also featured Fagan on its front page and described him as cunning and highly skilled guerrilla officer. As insurrector leaders were captured one by one, Fagan reportedly took refuge in the mountains of Nueva Ecija, together with his Filipino wife. In 1901, he was being hunted as a bandit with a $1,000 prize on his head. Later, a Filipino hunter named Anastasio Bartolome delivered a sack to the American authorities containing the alleged head of Fagan. He claimed that he killed Fagan while he was bathing in the river with his wife and a group of Aitas. Fagan's death, however, has never been confirmed and continues to be shrouded with mystery. Some still believe that Fagan fabricated his own death so he could live peacefully in the mountains with his Filipino wife.